Welcome to the What is Stoicism podcast.
How did you sleep last night? Was your mental activity gentle and uneventful? Or was your rest disrupted by strange and confusing dreams? If not last night, then at some point in the past you've probably experienced dreams that placed you in a dangerous situation, like falling from a great height, or a mortifying one, like walking into work having forgotten to put your clothes on. Then, with the opening of your eyes, overwhelming gratitude washes over you that none of it was real. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this feeling in Meditations, drawing a striking comparison between dreams and our waking judgments. Come back to yourself, and once you've aroused yourself again from sleep and understood that what was bothering you was no more than a dream, regard what you see now that you're awake again as no different from what you were seeing in your dream. This feeling of relief, waking from illusion, holds a lesson. Some of the things we allow ourselves to be disturbed by in waking life are no more substantial than our dreams. Irrational fears and faulty judgments make us perceive threats where there are none, exaggerate consequences, and underestimate our ability to cope. Just like dreams, these imagined realities dissolve under scrutiny. But rather than try to silence our imaginations, we can engage them more purposefully. Through practices like premeditatio malorum or negative visualization, we prepare ourselves for adversity by simulating it in the mind. Instead of being caught off guard, we gain composure. Instead of despairing, we find gratitude. This is where journaling becomes a practical ally. In her book Bird by Bird, Lamott compares writing to watching a Polaroid develop. You don't know what the full picture will be when you begin. You just point at what has your attention and take the shot. Slowly, what was vague begins to sharpen into something meaningful. This is an apt metaphor not just for writing, but for Stoic self-examination. When we journal on a principle like enduring hardship or tolerating difficult people, we start with a single frame, a moment or idea that has our focus. As we reflect, memories surface, patterns emerge, and insight grows. We see more than we started with. Suppose you journal about patience. At first you might recall a recent encounter that tested your tolerance. As you write, you might remember similar past situations, recognize triggers, or realize how your reactions shape the outcomes. What began as a small scene expands into a larger narrative. Now, you not only understand what to do, you see when and why you must do it. By treating journaling not as a rigid task, but as a process of unfolding, we give our thoughts space to breathe. Often we're tempted to project far ahead, needing to know the outcome before we begin. But in journaling, as in life, the outcome reveals itself only after we've taken the first step. Lamott's advice reminds us that we don't have to, and shouldn't, force immediate clarity. Instead, we trust that something within us is reaching for coherence, and we follow its lead. You couldn't have had any way of knowing what this piece of work would look like when you first started. You just knew that there was something that compelled you, and you stayed with that something long enough for it to show you what it was about. In this way, journaling becomes a bridge between Stoic insight and creative discovery. Just as we practice distinguishing dream from reality to free ourselves from needless suffering, we also learn to distinguish superficial thoughts from deeper understanding through the development of ideas on the page. Both Marcus Aurelius and Lamott point us toward the same principle. Our minds often mislead us, but they can also guide us if we use them with care. Whether it's calming our irrational fears or shaping incoherent thoughts into clarity, the process requires honesty, patience, and presence. In the end, whether reflecting on imagined catastrophes or writing toward an uncertain truth, we find strength not by demanding certainty, but by embracing process. We become, paradoxically, more awake, able to recognize the illusions for what they are, and ready to act with purpose in the reality that remains.